Hello and welcome to AfterWyrd, or we might call it Extra Weird. We're still working that one out, but either way, there'll definitely be some weirdness. My name's Andy,
And I'm the other weird one.
sometimes known as Craig. And yeah, we're going to be talking about some weird news, some other weird goings on. And when you just start saying the word weird so much, it just becomes meaningless.
Yes. Um, but I'm gonna go first if that's all right, because I've
Yeah,
got
go for it.
something that ties in. Oh, and I'm just gonna show off because as you can see, I've now got a chair that turns around, Andy. Look
You
at that.
do, you do. Look at that. I need
So
to
I'm
get.
gonna
I've
be,
got a sheepskin. I'll throw my sheepskin over next time.
yes. This is where your money goes, people. This was £10 on Facebook Marketplace. But no, that's not what I wanted to start with, actually.
If you join up to the Substack and pay us more, then he might be able to pay to get the stains cleaned from it.
Nah, adds character.
But yeah, go on. What have you got?
So, because the episode from last week we were talking about the Slender Man stabbing,
Yes.
and this kind of ties in with it a little bit. So I just wanted because I noticed this like the day after that came out. So it's a shame we didn't have it before. But this is an article from Vice.com, and it's scientists messed around with LSD and invented a new brain healing drug.
So when you say messed around with LSD, as in like they used the LSD as the drug, or they were like, let's take loads of LSD and see what we come up with.
No, see, we covered that when we did Montauk Project as well.
This is
So it's all
true. This is
tying
true.
together. Uh no, so they've actually been messing around with it kind of chemically speaking. I'll read you the article and then you'll see why I've brought this up in relation to Slenderman. So researchers at UC Davis have fiddled with LSD at the atomic level and may have unlocked a potential game-changing treatment for schizophrenia. There's your link, you see.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
compound known as JRT might be able to repair the brain without making you trip balls. I'm
J.R.
reading
Tolkien. Sorry.
I'm reading this verbatim. It does say trip balls. Yeah, the scientists who posted their findings in the scientific journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences were toying with LSD atoms when they decided to, in their own words, do a tire rotation. This meant swapping the position of two atoms in LSD's molecular structure. That tiny change turned it from a powerful hallucinogen into something that can regrow brain cells in mice and mend neural pathways without launching your consciousness into the cosmos.
Ah.
Which is pretty cool because I mean, they use LSD and other drugs now to treat things like PTSD, don't they?
Yeah, and depression. I mean, sort of mushrooms, THC to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's in a very specific kind of thing because it has to be done
Meth
in
if I'm
conjunction.
meth if I'm self-medicating. No,
Uh,
but yeah, you're
yeah,
right. It has to be done in conjunction with either other drugs or therapy, sort of quite
yeah.
specific therapy. Having never gone under this or in fact not being a doctor, I don't feel I can, comment
Well,
on
you're
the
not.
exact ins and outs. No, just when I told you needed that exam. Um,
So yeah, I mean that's the gist of the article is potentially they're working on something that could cure. I mean, it says schizophrenia. I'm presuming any kind of disorders like that, anything to do with
yeah,
the
sort
brain.
of, yeah.
So I don't know whether they would eventually that might help with things like Alzheimer's, maybe. I don't know. I'm speculating there.
Yeah, I mean they're always coming up with new sort of new treatments. I say coming up with they're always working on new treatments for these things. There's not been any sort of absolute miracle cures or something. It's not that simple, but with Alzheimer's, dementia, there's a one called Huntington's disease, which is a pretty nasty one, which is hereditary. And if your parents got it, one of your parents has got it, you've got a 50-50 chance of getting it. And I know
Yeah.
they were coming up with a few ideas for that. And one of them was like they were looking into some of the stuff in spicy foods, and it's like excellent. I love curries, it's but yeah, they came up with something recently they're working on it, sort of they're still looking into, they're still trialing that gives you a much like there's no cure, but it sort of
Yeah.
improves the survivability, and they are sort of looking into ways of turning that specific part of the gene off, ideally to actually cure people. But yeah, it's quite amazing how some of these things we've had kicking around for years, in terms of diseases and stuff they're looking into for cures are just like there, it's not, we think of a new medicine being invented and it's always like this magical medicinal compound, like, being made in a lab, but it's, drawing on stuff like that I find quite interesting.
Well, I mean, LSD was made in a lab originally. It's
Oh
not, it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
synthetic drug.
Yeah, you don't
Um,
don't go to the LSD tree unless you've taken enough of it, and then I'm sure you will find an LSD tree.
no, but I'm sure someone's tried to make an LSD tree at some
If I
point.
grow this,
I've never tried it myself. I don't know, and I know you can like relapse and stuff off it. So I was always a bit scared to do anything like
yeah,
that.
I've not done it either. To my knowledge, I think I might have been spiked with some once, but I don't know. Um, yeah, and
Actually,
then
that triggers in my mind, yes, once smoking something and we started to trip balls, and we think that might have been spiked with LSD, possibly.
and there was that time you dug up those '90s bangers from under that tree.
No, that was a certain TV show.
Um, nice. I do have some weird news.
Go on then. What have you got?
So you can take your pick, actually. Would you
All of
like
them.
all of them? All of them. I'll do one, maybe two, but I've got to
Go
save
on.
some. Would you like one that involves a ghost, a doll, or a mystery?
I would like a ghost doll mystery, please.
A ghost doll mystery. The
Uh,
ghost one, I will say, the ghost one also involves prophesizing the end of the world.
you love End of the World Prophecy,
I
don't you? Go on,
do.
give me that one then.
All
Go
right, let's
on.
go. I mean, it ties in with the Mothman a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
So woman who's spoken to ghost for 12 years reveals when the world is going to end. And this is from the Metro.
So hang on. So the ghost has told her.
Yep, I guess so.
Ooh.
Sorry to break it to you, but a woman who has spoken to a spirit for the last 12 years says it has predicted the world will end, tomorrow. This was a
Huh.
couple of weeks ago.
Oh. So it's not. Do you mean tomorrow, as in tomorrow as we're recording, or tomorrow after the article?
Tomorrow after the article. So
So hang on. So are we in limbo?
we might be. Do you know how the Jehovah's Witnesses think the world like started to end, like the beginning, like the end started around the time of the First World War?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's like that, maybe it's a long drawn out process.
Do you know what? I had a weird thing yesterday. I woke up and I had breakfast and stuff, and I was just like, do you know what? Something just feels off today, and I can't work out what it was. And I never did work out what it was. Maybe that's it. Maybe the world ended.
I'll save more of this for when we do an episode, which will come eventually on conspiracy theories. Um, the
That's a conspiracy theory in itself. There is
exactly,
no
exactly.
conspiracy theory episode.
But there's a lot of the ones online at the moment. You get little YouTube sort of AI voiced shorts coming out with
Ugh.
yeah, I know, right? um coming out with sort of these conspiracies about us all living in a simulation, which we've joked about. Like it's like the voice is like, have you noticed? Like that slightly off white guy version of Morgan Freeman voice that they always have on there.
Yeah.
Um, things just don't taste right. Warmth from the sun isn't as warm anymore. Sort of things just aren't exciting. You're not alone. It's actually because we're living in a simulation. The world actually ended. And it's like, or you're just getting older and stuff's a bit more shit when you're older because it's not as exciting as when you're young. Um, but yeah,
No, I saw one like that about the Matrix. Is that I think everything since the Matrix has been like everything's being rehashed, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
music and fashion and stuff come back around. So they were theorizing the same thing there. Is that actually the world ended around that time?
But yeah, I mean, you get that throughout history, just fashions and trends. Um, but yeah, the Phantom, who goes by the name Seven, appears on a Ouija board being used by a woman only known as Cassiopeia 7. For simplicity, we're just going to call her Cassie, sharing her revelations on TikTok, insisting it's not a publicity stunt. It's not. She said Seven reckons we're all going to die as a result of a nuclear blast. Okay, we'd have noticed that, I think, or space explosion. That's a space explosion. Can you imagine as scientists? It
Uh-huh.
appears. Oh yes, it's definitely a space explosion of some kind. It's um. So yeah, the 27th of May, 2025, and anyone reading after that date can stop reading at this point. Okay, never mind. It told us to stop reading. Cassie and her husband, also unnamed, claim they first made contact with the spirit on July the 5th, 2013, when they whipped out the Ouija board because they were bored. She is convinced that Seven's prophecies will come to pass because Seven once talked about a plague slowing down the human path to destruction. Less than 7 years later, COVID struck. Seven would communicate in
Wow.
English, spell words in ancient languages, and used binary code. It also communicated backwards. A couple of days later, they asked what message Seven would send the world. The reply: they all must stop, or Earth will die. When the couple drilled down for more information, they asked exactly what must stop in order to prevent the apocalypse. Seven responded, "Stupid." Offering some proof of its claims, the spirit said that it was the third time it had made contact. On July the 25th that year, Seven told them the first contact failed 24,825 ago. That was the day. I'm guessing it was days. That was the day Hiroshima bomb was dropped. The second time Seven was in touch was successful, tracing back to October 27th, 1962, when nuclear war was narrowly avoided in the Cuban Missile Crisis. Um, so yeah, turns out that this was the third time. So there would be a failed contact 29,149 days after Hiroshima, bringing us to May the 27th. Out of curiosity, Cassie and her husband asked who was going to die. Seven replied, "All save Seven." Cassie said, "I'm a normal person. My husband is a normal person. We have jobs. We are not Satanists." I love how she immediately goes to Satanists. She has now released a 51-page transcript of 31 conversations the couple have had with Seven and has handily broken them down on multiple TikToks. But it's definitely not a PR stunt. That's what it
Let me
actually
guess. She's
says.
got a book coming out.
Probably.
Yes, that sounds like a manifesto, to be honest. If
It
she's about to
does.
start like shooting people or something.
Um, the couple also have a new theory about Cleopatra after their pet ghost told them the Egyptian queen died by a knife rather than a fatal bite by a snake. They last spoke to Seven on May the 8th, coincidentally and conveniently just after their first video about their supernatural activities went viral. In the chat, they asked a series of questions like, how can we communicate with a non-human intelligence? Is God lonely? Um, Speaking in 10 different languages, including Chinese, Arabic, and Hebrew, Seven told the couple, swim.
Wait, hang on. So Seven spoke in Chinese, but Chinese characters aren't the same as English characters. So how did they speak Chinese on an English board?
It might have been using
Did they use
the
a dodgy South Park accent?
they might oh god. Um yeah, the city what guy I'm guessing. But
Yeah, that's
it
problematic, I would say.
is a bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's maybe it was like, using the English spellings of them.
Mm. Have they
Uh,
given a reason why it speaks in multiple languages?
nope. I'm sure when you buy the book.
Mm,
This is the new folklore, man, installed in little bite-sized bites through TikTok.
yes. I mean,
Wish it did fucking end.
interesting.
Yeah, so there you go. That was definitely a thing that happened or didn't happen. As maybe if I was this Cassie, I was doing something that definitely wasn't a PR stunt and was definitely talking to a ghost, I would probably be like double down on the whole. I think we've gone past the point of no return on climate change.
Mm.
It's a sitter right there. To explain why we're all not dead enough. But she had to fucking go all out and say nuclear blast because
This is the problem with like cults and stuff, is that they turn around and say the world's going to end, and then it doesn't, and then their whole thing just falls to pieces.
it's
Like,
like that
never
cult in
go with the
Park.
end of the world.
Is it Parks and Rec has that cult, and like they get together every year. They like and they're like they get together for their end of the world party, and like they rent the park out and hold an event there, but they rebook it for the next year, and they're like, why are you rebooking it? Where it's like, well, just in case.
Mm, yes. Never predict
um,
the end of the world. It never works out for anybody. If
I
you're
did
right,
I did think of doing some like doomsday cults for an episode. I mean, you've got obviously the cult slash movement with Jonestown, which is horrible.
yeah.
But I was also thinking of the Hale Bop one,
Oh yeah.
Heaven's Gate.
What's yeah, that's a nasty one also.
Yeah. Uhura from the original Star Trek series, her sister was one of them who died that day.
Yeah. What was that? There's that Australian one as well. What were they called?
Bluey fans.
No, it's a lot darker than Bluey. I can't remember their name now. There is an Australian. Hang on. It's got a nasty story. Anne Hamilton Bryn. Um, the family they were called.
Oh, wait, yes.
And they like brainwashed a bunch of people and they like imprisoned kids and made them like I think they had to like go to school till like 5 p.m. and then 5 till 9 was yoga and they hardly ate anything and they were all malnourished. Like it's a nasty story.
Yeah, that whole you'll get nourishment from your worship and sunlight or whatever bollocks. Um, yeah, you get a lot of weird new age ones now. Like, we often think of cults as like a random pagan deity or like a satanic thing, but it quite often it is variations on the main religions, like, mainstream religions, or it's like a new age thing. Like, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm around a lot of new agey sort of types where I live and just the circles I mix in. But there is like that insidious side as well. It is very open to predatory people of all walks of life
Mm,
to come and take advantage. Because people turn to these things quite often when they are looking for direction, looking for meaning quite often. And it can be a good place to find it. But, you are, I think if you're leading something like that, not a cult, but, sort of leading any kind of practice or a figure in that community, you've got a bit of a responsibility to, I don't know, not be a culty dick, I guess.
yes, let's
Um,
get that on a t-shirt. Don't be a culty
don't be a culty dick. Um,
I mean, churches are the same, right? I mean, they rely on conversion.
well, I was chatting
But
about this the other day, actually, talking about like the responsibilities of churches and things. I don't know why. It was just a random chat on one of my 3 or 4 times a year I go and be social. And the example I was talking about, and then we got to exorcisms, and I was like, well, they don't really do it anymore that much, not that much. And then I was like, because then you've got the cultier ones that still do, and you have things like Michael Taylor, and they were like, who's Michael
mm.
Taylor? I was like, go and watch the episode. Um,
So much blood.
so
It's
much
painting.
blood. But yeah, I was saying, that's what happens when you don't have that oversight, when you don't have that sort of responsibility and checks in place. Uh,
Yeah, I mean they still do them, but they're supposed to like consult with psychiatrists and stuff
yeah,
first, aren't they? But I think the church have bigger problems than
yes,
exorcisms, to be honest with you.
I think
Um,
they probably do.
yes, but we won't go into that today.
Not today, not today.
That's our
I,
6-part series coming up on the problems with the church.
I'm, I'll tell you what, next week, changing the topic, I'd say slightly massively. Next weekend, I'm doing a bit of a marathon. It's Friday night, I'm seeing 28 Days Later at the cinema, then
Yeah.
28 weeks later the next day, and then a couple of days after that, I'm seeing 28 years later, because that's out, and I'm very much looking forward to that because those are excellent films.
Yes, I enjoyed them. Yeah, I should probably go and see the new one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the trailer's brilliant. But yeah, it's. I was trying to think of any other horror films that are coming out. I mean, there are a few good ones I've seen. A24 are doing some good ones. I am really looking forward to, and it's not going to be till next year. But Werewolf, um, the werewolf film by Eggers,
Yeah.
which is set in 13th or 12th. I think it's 13th century England.
Yeah, it's all in like Old English or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, or they're
Or
using a lot of
medieval.
old,
Yeah.
yeah, sort of old English, sort of late, sort of old English, early medieval sort of English terminology. I don't know if the whole film is or whether they're just using the sentence structure.
I heard it was all going to be in that style.
Interesting. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to that whatsoever,
Yeah.
but um,
I've done my classic thing of watching films massively late after they've come out. So I've seen a
yeah,
couple lately that fit in. I just watched Prey,
nice.
the Predator
Yeah,
set 300 years in the past with I forgot the name of the tribe. It's like the
yeah.
Comanche or something, is it?
I don't know if it's Comanche or I'll look that up now.
I think it was the Comanche, and it's you can actually watch it in their language as well, which is
Yeah,
quite
which
cool.
I thought was really cool. That film got
Yeah,
a lot of backlash from the usual suspect. Yeah, it
yeah,
is Comanche. Um,
yeah. And it was interesting because apparently they did have like the producer and stuff are from the Comanche tribe, so they had a
yeah,
lot of input to make it accurate to their
yeah.
kind of depiction of the tribe. And I like the fact that they tried to pluck the Predator back into that time zone.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, interestingly done.
So on Disney Plus, there's a film out now called Predator, Killer of Killers, and it's three stories. It's a sort of a shield maiden on a quest for vengeance,
Yeah.
and then it's a Bushido sort of. It's sort of a samurai in feudal
Oh, this is
Japan.
the animated one, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah, I've
and
seen the
then it's
trailer
a
for it.
World War II pilot, and they all sort of end up facing off against a predator, and
Yeah.
they end up all together on this predator planet. I won't give the plot away, but it's very good, and there is a link to Prey at the end that I won't spoil.
Okay. I think
Just
is it made by the
watch,
same people?
possibly, but
Yeah.
it's very good. I watched it the other day.
The other thing I watched recently that's worth mentioning here. Have you seen Host?
No, actually.
It's a Zoom
Um,
horror film that was made during lockdown.
Wait, is that the one where someone? Is that the one where there's like a dark web thing where people are paying to get other people killed off or like to
No,
mess with?
no,
All right, I'm
no.
thinking
So
of
this
something
is a
else.
bunch of people are on a Zoom call because it's COVID time. So they all bunch of friends meet up and they have a lady come on. They try to do like a séance over Zoom.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't want to kind of say too much. It's really cool. It's only about an hour long. It's on Shudder,
Okay. I might
which you
sign up
can get a
briefly.
yeah. I mean, you can get a free week's trial through
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, so you don't actually even need to pay for it. But it was good enough that I watched it on my own, and then Ocean went to bed, so I got Emma to watch it. So I actually watched it back to back twice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you got scared.
No, it was really well done. It kind of shows what you could do on like a limited budget and just a Zoom call.
Yeah, I,
Like,
I really admire that.
yeah. I think the guy ended up because he was like really into Blair Witch Project. And he's done like I think it was the 20-year anniversary of Blair Witch Project, like a behind the scenes documentary. He got access to like all the previously unseen footage. Um, yeah, it's which I need to do a rewatch of Blair Witch is where my mind's gone now. I haven't seen that for a long time.
I'd be up for that. Maybe we should like wait till I'm over next or something. And
Mm, been a long time since I've seen that one.
yeah, me too.
But the other thing that connects to something we've spoken about recently, actually, with this is the Zoom call ID is the date that Ghostwatch went out on the BBC.
Nice.
because he was a big fan of Ghostwatch as well. So apparently
That's
there's a
cool.
whole bunch of other Easter eggs in there, but I couldn't tell you what they were. I'll have to look them up. Yeah, he just had all these little nods to it because Ghostwatch was really cool. And at some point, I think we're going to do a watch along.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, with Emma, maybe with Becky. Probably not Ocean, I imagine.
What's the age on it? It's only at 12, I think.
Okay.
Well, a bunch of people, like the whole point is a bunch of people watching with their kids because it had like children's TV presenters.
Yeah, like yeah, it wasn't Craig Charles and yeah.
I've forgotten the lady's name now, but yeah, so people were like, "Oh, this is for kids. It's only on at 9 o'clock. It's only
Wasn't
just after the water
Parkinson in it
show."
as well?
Yeah, Parkinson's mother phoned up to complain
Amazing.
because if I mean, it's old enough, people should have seen it by now, but he gets possessed at the end, and she phoned up to complain about this show. So even she believed that it was genuine.
Amazing.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. There was a couple of other things I did want to get to today, and I know you were in a rush to go,
I am.
but you've got social plans and I don't. But there was something I've been meaning to bring up for ages on this, so I'll leave one of them for another time, but we'll do this one if you don't mind quickly.
Yeah, go on.
Because it's from a proper um article and everything, from a real like newspaper. It's
Real.
from the Guardian.
Ah,
Well, we normally go for the Metro or something, but
yeah.
this is from April, and it's historians dispute the Bayeux Tapestry penis tally after a lengthy debate.
Lengthy debate.
So, two Bayeux scholars at loggerheads over whether dangling shape depicts a dagger or the embroidery's 94th phallus.
Tackling the important issues.
Well, that's why I needed to bring it up on this show. I mean, we need to, I guess,
Has it got a picture of the phallus in question or dagger?
yeah. I will show you in a sec. So yeah, it says in a historical spat that could be subtitled 1066 with knobs on, two medieval experts are engaged in a battle over how many male genitalia are embroidered in the Bayeux Tapestry. The Oxford professor George Garnett drew worldwide interest 6 years ago when he announced he had totted up 93 penises stitched into the embroidered account of the Norman conquest of England. According to Garnet, 88 of the male appendages are attached to horses and the remainder to human figures. Now, the historian and Bayeux Tapestry scholar Dr. Christopher Monk, known as the medieval monk, believes he has found a 94th. A running man depicted in the tapestry border has something dangling beneath his tunic. Garnet says it's the scabbard of a sword or dagger. Monk insists it's a male member.
Damn.
Yep. So, yeah, I am in no doubt that the appendage is a depiction of male genitalia, the missed penis, shall we say. The detail is surprisingly anatomically fulsome, Monk says.
Fulsome.
Uh, the Bayeux Museum in Normandy, home to the 70-meter long embroidery, says the story it tells is an epic poem and a moralistic work. I was hoping that was going to be a quote of them getting in on this debate, but it's not.
What would be really interesting is seeing, 'cause you know, in um, Reading, there in the museum at Reading, there is a Victorian remake of the Bayeux Tapestry, which is technically an
Mm,
embroidery. Um, and I wonder whether the ladies that did that saw it as a dagger or a penis.
mm, yes, indeed. So, I will scare screens. I'll
So
put
we,
my teeth back in.
so we are going to now settle the debate. I'm sure you know these historians at loggerheads just they need some outside help. So Wyrd Wessex is going to settle it once
Right.
and for all.
So this black shape here,
Yeah. Now
this scabbard or penis.
I don't recall the. See, that does look like a couple of nuts.
The problem is I call my penis my scabbard, so that
What do
doesn't
you
even
put in
make
there?
sense.
Um,
I don't know, it just sounded funny.
I mean, that is a well hung Norman, if that is.
My concern is it's black,
the
which
the 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 weather was grim, the times were hard, there was a lot of horrible stuff going around the camps.
oh
But yeah, I think it might be a scabbard, because I don't recall seeing the willies on other men. It was also all seemed to be horses.
well, it said how many were men though, didn't it? Further up.
Oh yeah, you're right actually. Yeah.
There were somewhere. Where was it?
Oh, there you
So,
go. 88 and go up, go up. 88 of the male appendages attached to horses and the
oh
remainder,
yeah,
so
so there's
93.
93 total,
Yeah.
88 are horses. So there are a few on men. I guess what we need to do really is find a picture of what the rest of the male appendages look
Yeah.
like to see whether that's how the rest of them look like.
All right, I might change my opinion then because that does look like it's got testicles.
It does, but then why is it black, Andy?
Maybe they forgot to put it in and just sort of they had a bit of fabric to use up. I don't know. I don't know.
So like, um, hmm, what do you Google? So like Bayeux Tapestry penises. My search history.
Yeah, you
Oh,
see, naked.
yeah, so he's naked. Okay. That one's obvious. I mean, there's no,
No. Yeah.
but is there any others that look like that? Because there must be what they're saying there's five on there. So one
Your
of them's
search,
this chap.
the search history, man. I love it. Um,
It's all in the name of podcasting. They're all kind of showing, they're either showing the black one, which is the new debated one, or they're showing this naked chap, which is
yeah.
clearly naked. Oh, there's this.
Oh, there you go.
Again, though, that's obvious.
Yeah, maybe it's a scabbard then. Or maybe someone put in a penis, and then someone was like, no, we were supposed to put 93. Why would you put a 94th? You heard the weirdly specific instructions that Bishop Odo gave us. He wanted 93 cocks, not 94, you mad woman. Here, let me stitch it up. I'll try and fix it. Let's hope someone thinks it's a scabbard.
I mean, yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it's a scabbard either, though. He also appears to be dual wielding.
Yeah. Maybe that's the balls on this guy are so great for dual wielding and forsaking a shield. He's he's it's just showing the bravery of this chap.
Because, I mean, that, you can see my mouse, right, where I'm pointing. So this black
Yes.
one, the recent
Yes.
one, is nothing like the naked chap
No, no, not at
here.
all.
And it's
Or even
nothing like
or
this
even the
horse one
horse, yeah.
either. Yeah. So I'm not convinced. I mean, it does have that ball on the end, though,
Yeah. So
which
does some
as does like the horse.
you got caps on scabbards as well though, those little terminal bits.
I mean, I feel like at this point we're judging the
Look at what the scabbards
quality
look
of
like. Look at the
the embroidery.
scabbards. Look at the scabbards.
Bayeux Tapestry scabbards.
Yeah, Becca's gonna be like, so why are we late to this social thing again? Well, Craig and I just had a little bit longer debating penises from 1,000 years ago.
Penis versus scabbard. Um, I mean, that's got a sword in it there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm leaning on the side of penis again.
Because it would have to be like for just the tip of the scabbard from the other side, wouldn't
Yeah,
it? If that was the case,
just the tip.
just the tip.
Oh dear. On that note,
Yeah, we've
oh,
got all the serious debates on this show.
exactly.
All right, yeah. On that note, I've been Craig.
I've been Andy, mostly thinking that that's a penis and not a scabbard.
Well, you're off to a social gathering, so you can now bring this
I
discussion
will. I'll bring this
and
lovely,
report back.
intelligent, polite debate and see what people think. Don't get a beer in me, and I probably will. I'll whip it out the phone. That'll be. I'll whip out the phone and
I'd be like,
show people.
so guys, penis or scabbard?
Oh,
Wow. Yes. On that note, I've been Craig.
I know I've been Andy.
Keep your penis in its scabbard, Andy.
I'll try. I will try. No promises. Until next time, stay weird and sheathed.
Don't blame the owls. Ah!